In this end time, the alarm has already sounded. Disasters and man-made calamities are happening more and more often all over the world. So where should the human heart go? When the Great Tribulation begins, is there any place for mankind to escape? Today I want to use the Bible to explain in a simple way the relationship between the rapture of the church and the appearance of the Antichrist. And I will also explain how the 7-year Great Tribulation will unfold. You will see that these things are tightly connected. Why does the church need to be raptured? According to the Bible, there are two purposes. First, God raptures the New Testament saints so they can be kept from the trial and not be harmed by the disasters. Revelation chapter 3, verses 10 to 11 says, "Because you have kept my word of patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world, to test those who dwell on the earth. I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, so that no one take your crown." That is the first purpose, to keep the church from that worldwide testing. Second, God transferred the responsibility of preaching the gospel to the whole world, to the Gentiles, back into the hands of the Jewish people. Revelation chapter 11, verses 3 to 4 says, "I will grant authority to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 lampstands standing before the Lord of the earth." That is the second purpose. The mission returns to Israel through the 2 witnesses. What is the rapture? The word rapture in Greek carries the meaning of being taken away with force, taken up powerfully, snatched away, to meet the Lord in the air. And the people who are raptured are those whose names are written in the book of life. That means they truly believe in the Lord and they are truly born again. The rapture is also a mystery. A mystery means something hidden. Only God fully knows it. Human being cannot completely understand it. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12 says, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I will know fully, just as I have been fully known." Paul used that to describe what a mystery is. The Bible speaks of 7 mysteries. First, the triune God is a mystery. Second, the Word becoming flesh is a mystery. Third, the kingdom of heaven is a mystery. Fourth, why Israel became hardened is a mystery. Fifth, Christ is a mystery. Sixth, the gospel is a mystery. Seventh, the church is a mystery. The relationship between the church and Christ is a mystery. And the rapture of the church is a mystery. Who will not be raptured? First, those who blaspheme the Holy Spirit, meaning those who do not believe in the Lord. Second, those who change the Bible. How do resurrection and rapture happen? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 14 to 17 says, "If we believe that Jesus died and rose again, then God will also bring with him those who have fallen asleep in Jesus. For this we declare to you by a word from the Lord, that we who are alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we will always be with the Lord." This tells us something very clear. The souls of the New Testament saints, the ones who have fallen asleep in the Lord, will rise first and receive a glorious body. Then the saints who are still alive on earth will be caught up together with them to meet the Lord in the air. That is the rapture. And during this process, our bodies will experience a change. What is this change? This change is when the body goes from perishable to imperishable. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 to 53 says, Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable, and we shall be changed. For this perishable body must put on the imperishable, and this mortal body must put on immortality. Right now, our body is a decaying shell. It cannot last into eternity. But when we are raptured, the body will be changed into a glorious body, an eternal body that does not decay. About the timing of the rapture, churches usually hold three positions. Some say it happened before the tribulation. Some say it happened in the middle. Some say it happens after. Based on Revelation chapter 3, verses 10 to 11, the description points to a rapture before the tribulation. Because when the time of trial comes upon the whole world, a worldwide testing, God takes the church away. So the saints are kept from that trial. And at the same time, this opened the curtain for the 7-year Great Tribulation. What is the 7-year Great Tribulation? In Revelation, the 7 years are described as two halves. The first 3.5 years. And the last 3.5 years, the disasters are unprecedented. It includes the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 bowls. The 7 seals involve calamities on earth. The first 4 seals are the 4 horses. The white horse is false peace. That points to the Antichrist. He is someone the Jewish people accept as a great helper of Israel. But he is not Jesus. The red horse is war. The black horse is famine. The pale horse is death or disease. That is human disaster. The 5th seal is the souls of the saints who were killed during the tribulation. They are under the altar, crying out to God for justice. The 6th seal is natural disaster. The 7th seal does not directly bring a disaster, but it releases the 7 trumpets. Before the 7 trumpets are blown, heaven is silent for half an hour. 2 periods of 15 minutes. Why? So that animal had time to hide. Then the angels blow the trumpets. The 7 trumpets strike what unbelievers worship: the land, the sea, the rivers, and the heavenly bodies, the star. Finally come the 7 bowls. That is God's great wrath. During the 7 seals, 1/4 of the world's population dies. Then in the 7 trumpets, when the 7th trumpet is blown, the number of deaths become another 1/3 beyond what remained, so that altogether it reaches 1/2 of the world's population. And the final 3.5 years are the 7 bowls, also called the last 7 plagues. Did the Old Testament book of Daniel already prophesy these 7 years? Yes. Daniel chapter 9, verses 23 to 27 says, At the beginning of your pleas for mercy, a word went out, and I have come to tell it to you, for you are greatly loved. Therefore, consider the word and understand the vision. 77s are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish the transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal both vision and prophet, and to anoint a most holy one. Know therefore and understand that from the going out of the word to restore and build Jerusalem, to the coming of an anointed one, a prince, there shall be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. It shall be built again with squares and moat, but in a troubled time. And after the 62 sevens, an anointed one shall be cut off and shall have nothing. And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Its end shall come with a flood, and to the end there shall be war, desolation, a decree. And he shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 7, and for half of the 7 he shall put an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abomination shall come one who make desolate until the decree end is poured out on the desolator. In the Old Testament way of counting, in this context, 1 day represents 1 year. So 77 means 490 years. The 7 7 plus the 62 sevens equals 69 sevens. That is 483 years. That part was already fulfilled in history. The final remaining 1 7 is the last unfulfilled 7 years. That is the 7-year Great Tribulation. It is also the final 7 years in God's redemption plan. During these years, Israel carries the worldwide responsibility to spread the gospel, and at the same time, the Great Tribulation unfolds. The relationship between the appearance of the Antichrist and the 7-year tribulation, according to the Bible, the appearance of the Antichrist happens at the same time the 7-year tribulation begins. Because after the church is raptured, the one who restrains him is removed. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 6 points to this. The restrainer referred to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit goes with the church. Then the lawless one, the Antichrist, is revealed. And the person who will become the Antichrist is already on earth. The mystery of lawlessness is already working. He is simply waiting for Satan's authorization. Before that authorization, he still does not know he is the Antichrist. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 6 to 8 says, "And you know what is restraining him now, so that he may be revealed in his time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who